So for all of you out there that don't know who I am, my name is Gavin Pollock and I am a Division I runner at Idaho State University, and I also have a video production company and create content. As you might have noticed from the first part of this video, I am really trying to capture my life in a more cinematic way. And the reason that I'm doing that and posting it here on YouTube primarily comes from my realization that I've plateaued, honestly, in my creative process and in my video production recently. I started this video production company or freelance agency about 3 years ago. And I remember for that first year, one of my main goals or focuses was to just make every video better than the last. And that's not really quantifiable, but it worked for me because every single video I would make, either for myself or for clients, I would analyze it and try and put that stamp of approval on if I thought it was better than the last video I made, if I thought it was the best video I've ever made. And that forced me to try new techniques and to really get better at filming videos. Since being in college and running full-time, I've still been able to work with a lot of awesome clients and I've been able to grow the business, but I've noticed that I've been so distracted by everything else that's going on in my life that progress has kind of just plateaued. And it also, you do this for a while and you get some clients and they like what you do and you get comfortable and you stop really trying to grow as a creative. This week, I want to show you guys what it's like to be somewhat on the off season as a Division I college runner. I finished up the track season at the Big Sky Conference Championships right in the middle of May. And then I took about 2 weeks where it was a break. And we don't get very many breaks as college runners. And so you try and make the most of those. But this is really what a week looks like, trying to reset and rest and focus on some really important things to help me to set up myself so that I can have the most successful year coming forward, both as an athlete and then also as a business owner. So one of the things I've been able to focus on a lot more since not having to run every day and not having the strict regiment of travel and training is my business. And I've been able to take care of clients that I haven't had the time for beforehand, and I've been able to do the work that I just haven't had time for because I've been in school and running. And that's one of my favorite parts of these breaks, is I can really obsess over my business and make growth because I love doing that. And this last week I was able to go out and film some real estate property, and I've also been able to film some bridal shoots for some weddings I have coming up, and just be able to finish up edits on a ton of different projects that I've sort of had lingering throughout the school year that I haven't been able to get back to. And then after working, I was able to take some time and go fishing with my brother. And this is something that I haven't had time to do for a long time. I grew up fishing my entire life. I love fly fishing, and it's one of the most peaceful and serene and meditative experiences. And I just haven't had the time for it. Be able to go and fly fish for just a couple days was one of the best resets that I've had in a long time, and it's allowed me to clear my mind and focus on other things. And it just allows me to allow creative ideas to come into my mind more when you're not just so preoccupied by all of these other external things that are going on. Those creative ideas that come from your environment or even from your subconscious, they're able to enter in and have an influence and actually have an impact on your mind because you're not so preoccupied by so many other things. And then I was able to get back and just get right back to work. And that's one of my favorite parts about what I do is I genuinely look forward to every day that I get to work because I get to build something that I love and that I enjoy. So just got back from my run. It's about 8:30 in the morning. We're still at only about 60% of full mileage. We're building back into it, but on the days that we would normally be doing workouts, so Tuesdays and Fridays, we're just doing progressive runs. And these aren't really specifically prescribed like paces and whatnot. It's still pretty much just off of feel. And mine, I did about an hour and got in like just under 9 miles, so average of 6:54. And the last 2 miles were 5:44 and 5:32. I kind of cheat on these because there's this road that I live on that is just kind of gradually uphill on the way out and then obviously gradually downhill on the way back. But yeah, it was probably like 7:30 averages until I turned around, and then probably like 6:20 average on the way back just because of those last 2 miles that were pretty fast. So I'm happy with how that went. And then today I gotta get cleaned up and ready to go because we have a shoot at 10 a.m. with like a wealth management company. We're doing some videos, some like intro videos for them, and that'll be super sick. And then come home and we're probably gonna go get a little bit of rehab done today, as well as some editing. And that's really what today's gonna look like for me. So, you know, one of the things I've been thinking about recently is the lack of gear I actually have. Like, I didn't really even upgrade these lights until a few months ago. And I've been doing this for like 2 or 3 years. I just barely upgraded my drone. I still only have the one main camera. I shoot on the Sony a7S III. And there's a lot of different things that I want to get. I love camera gear just as much as the next guy. But one of the things that I've seen repeatedly in my own experience and then other videographers and content creators that are getting into it is they buy a bunch of gear and expensive gear before they've even made money with the gear that they have. And I am a firm believer that you can make a lot of money with a little bit of gear. I was able to make over $10,000 with a camera that I got as a graduation gift. I think it was like a Costco package camera for $400 or something like that. And then when I had the money in my account to buy a new camera, I bought the Sony a7S III, and I didn't use a credit card to buy it. I didn't use a loan. I didn't use my own personal money. It was completely bought for by the business. And then ever since then, I've been using that camera and generating tens of thousands of dollars with this little kind of rinky-dink setup that I have. I don't know, it's really easy to get in this mentality as a videographer, like, oh, I need this next thing, I need this next camera, I need whatever. Like, I can't shoot with big clients until I get some $30,000 or $40,000 camera with lenses, and that's just not true. Most of the time you can squeeze a lot more money out of the gear that you already have before you purchase new gear. And that's always been my mentality, is I don't purchase another piece of gear until I'm confident that that piece of gear can make me more money than I'm already currently making. As a runner, there's this idea that all runners should understand, but I'm not sure that all runners do understand, and it's that rest is productive. You know, really any athletic endeavor, you're trying to accomplish a specific goal. For me, it's trying to run a specific distance in a specific time. The idea is that you go and you work out and you get stimulus, you break down your muscles, and then you come back and you rest and you recover. You have nutrition and you sleep and you just chill and allow your body to make the adaptations, and then you build back stronger. But what a lot of athletes think is they think that the progress happens during the workout. In reality, your body's making the actual adaptations when you're sleeping or when you're chilling. And so if you're going too hard when you're not training, you're not going to recover, and then you're just going to end up being exhausted. So really the athletes that are resting the most are the ones that are getting the most out of their workouts. And I think that this principle is true in terms of the science of running, as well as it's true in terms of mentally decompressing. And understanding that in the broad scheme of things, being able to rest and take time off, even though it's easy to get excited about the upcoming season, rest is productive. And I've been intentional at taking time to reset and chill out a little bit this week, because I understand that my ability to perform later on is directly correlated with the ability that I have now to rest and recover. I've had 3 stress fractures in college so far, and I have learned a lot from each one of those injuries. And if there's one lesson that's stood out to me more than the rest, it's that there's a lot of runners out there that run a lot of miles. And so it's clear to me that it's not necessarily about running too much, it's about running too much too fast. You can really drain yourself by the end of the season if you are just so hyper-focused on your training all the time, and it's easy to do as an athlete. That's what we live for, is training and workouts. But I'm going to intentionally take training easier and not overdo it this summer, so that I can try and maximize the output later on, because it's a long season. I really don't have races that truly matter until October and November, which is a long ways away. So that's kind of my approach in getting back into training, and I'm excited to continue to share my journey, and I'm excited to try and become the best athlete I possibly can in the next year, as well as go back to my original goal of making every video I make better than the last, whether it's stuff I'm posting personally on YouTube or content that I'm making for clients. I want to push myself athletically and also push myself creatively, because those 2 avenues are 2 of my biggest passions and the things that I found the most amount of satisfaction and purpose in. And I'm excited to continue this journey and sharing my journey along the way. And if you are watching this, thank you so much for supporting me, and I will see you in the next one.